So you're not a real reader if you're not constantly reading 24/7 and you're suddenly in a reading slump. Today we're diving into a topic that's been on my mind lately, reading slumps. You know, those awful periods where it seems like you just can't get into any book no matter how hard you try. But here's the thing, I've noticed something really interesting about the way the book community reacts to reading slumps, and that's what I want to talk about today. Hey book babes, you're obviously here because you're a reader. You know, I'm a reader. I am constantly reading. I'm constantly talking about books, reviewing them, hauling them, unhauling them, all the things. That's presumably why you're here. We love it. But recently I noticed that maybe I'm in a little bit of a reading slump. I am currently juggling 5 books, and that's not very uncommon of me, but it really seems like nothing's fully keeping my interest. And I'm enjoying all of them, but I'm just not fully into all of them. Maybe I'm a little bit overwhelmed or overbooked. No pun intended. A few thoughts did pop into my head like, Joanna, you are a book content creator. You should be reading a bunch of books all the time. I am in a very different place than I used to be when I first started Instagram, or some fears I had around starting booktube because of this specific thing where you get into reading slumps. I think it happens to most readers. I mean, you've probably been in a reading slump, correct me if I'm wrong, but as I'm like scrolling through Instagram and through even threads, I did notice a lot of people really upset with themselves, really angry when they're in reading slumps. They're like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe I can't get into this book. And I love videos that recommend you books to get you out of your reading slump, but it also got me thinking like, why are we so set on getting out of it? Why are you like forcing yourself to read through things to finally get over it? And it tied into so many things, and tied into the perspective of you having to read all the time or you're not a real reader. It tied into reading goals, like your Goodreads goals, where some people set a really high goal for themselves or something that's just really stressful for them. And it tied into really missing out. And of course, for content creators, the fact that they are not reading is insane because that is your content. When you step out of the book community, we read a lot. There are some people who read at least 14 books a month, and I thought that was insane. But then I would see them write, I only read 14 books a month. Are we okay as a book community? Are we okay? That's a lot, and I'm not shaming either way. But basically, when you really step out of the book community, the fact that you even read 3 books a year is a lot to your average non-avid reader. Let's just start off with that. These are insane numbers that we're comparing ourselves to. If you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't read 14 books a month. I don't read even like 5 books a month. My months fluctuate so much, and I'm literally here making content for you about books. I don't know why as a book community we're creating this sense of pressure that you have to read a lot of books. And if that's something you love to do, like you genuinely love to binge and read, and you're able to read 24/7, that's great. I'm really talking to the people that feel that same pressure, which I do see people calling themselves out for not reading. The point is to really enjoy your book and the story. If we as a community are pressuring each other to read so much, I don't really know what we're doing out on the platform, and we are super niche. If I talk to book readers, we have such insane high standards for ourselves compared to my average person who may love reading books but isn't necessarily in the bookish community, that think what we do is insanity, and it really is. I just really want to encourage one, that if you are a slower reader, don't worry about it. There are a ton of people that read way faster than me, way more than me, and I'm okay with that. I'm thoroughly enjoying my book. I'm thoroughly enjoying the way I'm reading. I only feel pressured when I really want to get to other books, and that's just my excitement. Now, another aspect that really stood out to me was reading goals. I didn't realize reading goals was such a really big thing. I never set it as like a personal thing, and when I really started over on Instagram, I decided to make one, and it was honestly really fun. I set my goal for 10 books, and you know what? Even talking to you now, because I'm kind of just thinking out loud, loud. When I mentioned the 10 books, another creator actually laughed. They laughed that I only set 10 books. And I remember saying, oh, I know it's only 10, but you know, I had a really heavy job with a lot of social work and I just didn't really feel like reading more dystopian novels, which is my go-to. And so the fact that they even laugh reflecting now just shows you like, what the heck is going on? What are we doing in the book community that would make you chuckle? Is it because I was on bookstagram now and 10 books is like a joke? I don't know, you tell me. But 10 books is still a lot even for us, you know, because that is so much time and dedication. I did surpass that goal, but for me what was really fun about that is the stats. I just love stats. I love seeing like, what genre did I read more? What was my longest book? What was my highest rated book? What did I read altogether? I love that so much. So the reason I continued setting reading goals, this is my 3rd year doing one by the way, is because I love seeing the stats and I love seeing other people's stats. What I didn't know is that a lot of people actually end up comparing their stats. When I finally got onto YouTube, and actually this year, because this has been on my mind, I noticed a lot of wrap-ups. I was like, the 1,000 books I read, and here are my top 10. You're like, wow, she, he, they read 1,000 books. It's meant to clickbait you. And I never thought about like, oh yeah, the power of number. I think it's really fun if you can make a thumbnail like that, but I just had no idea. It really brought some people down because they're not reading 200 books a year. They're not reading 100 books a year. And so that really shocked me. I don't know, is this something that's relating to you guys? I'm just thinking out loud because I felt really sad that a lot of people are feeling bad about themselves, but especially in a book community where when I first joined, it was super supportive and it was so kind and welcoming, like literally everyone wanted to engage and be friends. And now more and more, I just see people really hating on themselves for not reading enough or for reading too slow or for being in a reading slump, when reading slumps are often a way of your body and your brain indicating, hey, I need a break. Can we rest a little bit? I don't know if this ties in with like capitalistic USA and how we're supposed to always be productive and always be on top of it and always hit milestones. And this year is the highest I've ever made my reading goal. And for a second, I was a little bit stressed. I was like, what if I don't hit the 75? And then I thought to myself, who cares? I'm reading, I'm creating. I love doing this so much. I love reading, but I'm not gonna force myself out of joy, out of rest for doing something and forcing myself to do something that I initially loved to do. Even if I don't hit 75, I'm so excited for my stats. On this channel, you guys have seen it. I really push myself and I push us as a community here on this channel to read out of our genre. So I love seeing every year my genre pie change up even more. So I'm so excited for this year. If you're feeling like you need to play catch up, especially if you feel like you need to step away from the book community because you feel bad, because you're not reading anything, that just makes me so sad, because the point of being on bookstagram and booktube is to, at least for me, have conversations and geek out over books that you've loved in the past. The whole reason we like to do our hobbies is because we presumably enjoy it. And so I can't imagine making a stat or comparisons really run your life. I hope at the very least on this channel that you don't feel that same type of pressure. And I don't always make crazy vlogs about every single book. We are experimenting out here, but I do have fun in what I'm doing and what I'm creating. And if you are too, and for example, if you're like enjoying this spiel for whatever reason, I hope I make sense, and hit the subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed. Definitely a place to hang out and to engage. That is my favorite thing about creating my own space over on Instagram and on booktube, is like, I want to have these chats. And I also wanted to be very honest with you guys of like, I have no idea what my March wrap up is gonna look like, because I finished like a book right before starting this channel. I was like, do I read enough? Because I have other interests as well. So a lot of our fast readers, a lot of our binge readers have told me this is the only hobby I have. Like, this is the only main interest I have, because I was always wondering like, how do you keep up with all all the festivals, all the anticipated releases, every single review, all of your arcs. That's amazing that you are just so freaking focused, like tuned into the book world, because there's a lot happening. There's a lot more happening now than we've seen in the past, and I love it. I love that publishers are more involved with content creators, and we have these fun boxes and like all the things, whereas I am so interested in so many things. And even though books make up a huge portion of the interest pie, there's a reason you guys see travel vlogs on here. There's a reason I love doing my makeup while I'm doing wrap-ups. There's a reason that on Instagram I love shutting out more music. There's a reason that vlog I made encompassed the fitness journey that I'm on and everything, because I am interested in all these things, and I never wanted my channel or this community to just be held to one thing strictly, when that's just not who I am. I'm here to chat with you, and to chat with you I need to be myself, and to be myself I need to really show you who I am on here, and that includes all these multifaceted interests. 21 Pilots released 2 new singles, and I was out in the corner like sobbing, screaming, having fun. I did not read a book for like a straight week because I was so busy re-listening to Overcompensate, and it honestly brought out other creativity in me, which I love to do. And I actually made a reel with this song because I was just so into it. I admire this band so much for their storytelling, the mental health, like everything. I just admire them so much. I was enjoying that so thoroughly. And then I also had the book festival, which I was super excited to connect with readers in person and like chat with everyone and hang out and make new friends and like geek out about books all the time. But I wasn't necessarily reading, but I didn't feel like I was just removed from the book community. I was still a part of it. So I hope that you're not deterred from being part of the community just because you're not maybe actively reading. And if you need a break, take a break and really ask yourself like why you even feel pressured in the first place to constantly be reading. So the fact that it's having the opposite effect, it's just like really sad. I won't force myself to do my makeup if I really don't want to. I won't force myself to listen to a song if I really don't want to. You shouldn't force yourself to watch things you don't want to watch, like movies you don't want to watch. And so I'm really surprised that in the book community, like, why are we so hard on ourselves? We're forcing ourselves. We have to get out of this reading slump. We have to keep going. We have to keep reading. Probably means you just need a break. I needed a break, and that's okay. I'm excited to share with you guys actually, but I ended up picking up books like I never expected to pick up, like this type of genre before, and I'm having fun. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to talk to everyone about it over on YouTube who tune in. Thank you so much again for tuning in. It's like always so nice to read comments and stuff when you guys tune in. But anyway, just such an impossible standard, especially when you have other things going on and other interests. And if you do, embrace them. I've certainly embraced them a lot more, and I'm trying to showcase them to you all more. Life just feels so freaking adventurous and fun, and I just don't think you should waste energy on doing things that don't bring you joy. You don't have to hold yourself to a specific standard if it's making you absolutely miserable. And like, why would you want to come back when you feel that way anyway? Like, why would you want to come back and read when you're forcing yourself the entire time? I don't know, maybe it's relatable, maybe it's not. I hope this made sense. I hope you feel kind of like seen and encouraged, that you don't feel like you're not a real reader just because you need a break. You're still a reader, you're still valid, you're still allowed in the book community. Do what you gotta do to really give yourself that space of grace so that you can come back and enjoy your hobbies like you should be. Thank you for hanging on to this spiel. I hope I kept you company while you were out there doing your chores. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!